good 3-day weekend. So I'm gonna go over the pre-market plan here, or really the close watch coming into today. So starting with the overall market, it's gonna be Q's. We're gonna see what Q's wants to do. As we can see, Q's did pull back to this 594.90, bounce right off, reclaim this previous day low. We are respecting this weekly 599.35 on the dot here during the pre-market, as we can see. So, if we get above this, I can definitely see some upside on a couple of these names. Coming into the day, I'm really more so bearish bias, but I'm not going to marry a bias. So depending on what Q's wants to do, we could definitely see some upside here. If we do reclaim this and hold this, I would say AMD would probably be one of my main watches just for the upside, just based on where it's sitting, very neutral. If we can get that reclaim over 203. But like you can see here, we are rejecting this 599.35 on the dot. If we can give this up, right, this 594.90, we can 100% see some more downside here on the overall market. SPY is in a spot where this is a very strong spot on the SPY. This weekly 678.45, bouncing off of this. It's a very strong spot here. Let's go here to our weekly levels. And you can see here, right? This thing here has really defended every single time, every time. So we have not really given this up. We've had a peak and fell, but we haven't given up, the 678.45 here on the SPY. So this is a very important level. No surprise that we saw a bounce here on Friday. So we'll see what sets up here. SPY obviously still has relative strength compared to everything else. So, we'll see what SPY does. If SPY can give up this 678.45, we can definitely see downside really across the board, but very strong bounce here off this name during the pre-market. And, if we reclaim this 681.45, we could definitely see some upside here on the SPY. And then what am I missing? Okay, so Tesla. So Tesla looks really good. This sets up, we are under 415.40. So it's either going to be a pop and fade off of this or break and retest under the previous day low. If QQQ wants to stay strong and a lot of these names wants to follow with it, we can definitely look for a break and retest above 415.40 to the upside. That is definitely in play on Tesla. So we'll see what sets up here. I'm more so lenient on the downside for Tesla, just because on the daily, on the weekly, we are bearish bias. We are trending to the downside here on Tesla. So we'll see what sets up here, but this looks really good. And then NVDA. Right, so this is the previous day close here. So on a technical standpoint, whenever you have the previous day close and you open up under it or above it, that is a gap. So going to be very cautious here on NVIDIA. NVIDIA does have relative weakness compared to really the overall market and one of our weakest tech names. So it's either going to be a short off the previous day low. If it needs a deeper pullback here, then we're just going to look for a pop and fade off of 183.70. So we'll see what sets up here on NVIDIA and then AMD. So AMD, I love the confluence here, right? We're under the previous day low. We're sitting at our 203. Our 203 is a very important level, as you can see. It's in a range here. It's a very important level. Either we're going to hold this or give this up. If we give this up, we can definitely see 193 here on AMD. So, right, this is going to be a break and retest to the downside on AMD, or we're going to hold this. So it really all depends on what QQQ wants to do. But a lot of these names look really good coming into market open. So we'll see what sets up here. Right, this pop over the previous day low is good, in my opinion, because I would prefer to take a trade off this key level and for us to fill this gap. So we'll be patient here first couple of minutes of market open just to see what Q's and SPY wants to do, and then we'll pretty much go from there. So we got about 3 minutes here until market opens. Just a heads up here, if I do trade Tesla, it's going to be weekly expiration. It's going to be end of week. So if I do touch Tesla, it's going to be, what is end of week, 20th? Yeah, the 20th. So 20th expiration on Tesla. Definitely do not want to mess around with this name here. Got about 1 minute and 30 until market opens. Q's is just sitting in a weird spot. Right, Q is just sitting dead smack in this. But if we continue to reject 595, I mean 599, that looks good. If we can get under, yeah, I would hope today we can just come in and be a little heavy here and get under 594.90. So we'll see in about 1 minute here. If Q's gets over this 599.35, we could definitely see some upside on these names. Okay, Q's rejecting at 599.35 at open. NVIDIA is showing some relative strength, but it does have a gap to fill. Very erratic here on AMD. So we can see Tesla's right now the one with the relative weakness compared to the market. Let's see if NVIDIA can also follow. Okay. A lot of these names rejecting. I'm looking at Tesla and NVIDIA. If I touch Tesla, it's going to be end of week expiration. Tesla has relative weakness compared to the market. NVIDIA has this gap to fill. Okay, let's see. That's a lot. If Qs can get over this 599.35, I do like AMD over 203 if we can reclaim that. As of right now, we can clearly see Tesla's the one with the cleaner price action. Strong open here. I'm looking at 203 guys on AMD as well. Need a little bit more displacement. Strong open on the SPY, strong open on the Qs. We'll see what Qs do. It's breaking over that. You can see really NVIDIA and AMD is following. Crazy candles here on AMD. Okay, so Q's still rejecting this. You can see all the wicks during pre-market and after hours. So that 599.35 is a strong resistance level. If Tesla sets up, guys, I'm looking at the 20th expiration. See if we can get NVIDIA as well into this previous day low. We just need a little bit more displacement here. NVIDIA is definitely in sync with the Qs for sure. Seeing if we can get a pullback here on Tesla. I mean, you can look at the three names and see which one has the cleaner price action. So right now, Qs is trying to break this weekly. Big deal if we do, right? Pretty much, we sucked that previous day low liquidity. We reclaimed it. We're moving higher. You can see we're trying to break this now, which is a pretty big deal. So just gonna be patient here. Let this market pick a direction because if Qs do reclaim and hold this 599, A and B over 203 is really like the main play for the upside. Yeah, big reclaim here. Big reclaim. Very strong open on the overall market to the upside. Very strong open. Yeah, big push here, guys. All right, guys, I'm looking at AMD actually. Like I said, AMD is, are we going to hold the bottom of this range or are we going to give it out? So I'm looking at AMD calls, 205 calls on AMD. Okay, so NVIDIA filled this gap, previous day close. Like I said, I'm looking at AMD calls. Let's see if we get a retest here. The 205 calls on AMD. This is a big reclaim here on the market on SPY and Qs. Look at that. Big reclaim. Very strong open on the overall market. We don't want to trade against that. Tesla's in play over 415.40. If that sets up, we'll see what sets up on NVIDIA. If it can get back up here to 183.70. Right now, AMD is really the main one. Just looking for that retest here. SPY's reclaiming 681.45. So very strong open on this overall market. Yeah, very strong open. No surprise. Gonna be a little quick here on AMD. I wouldn't be surprised if just strike price changes. So let's skip here on Tesla, right? Just because the overall market is very strong, so I'm not looking to trade against it. The real key level here on Tesla is 415. So if we can get over that, that looks solid. Main focus here is AMD. You can see a lot of these names are starting to stair step to the upside. Tesla, NVIDIA. NVIDIA price action is really not that good, but these names are stair stepping to the upside. If we don't get AMD, Tesla and NVIDIA really is in play over our key levels here. Because right now, both of these are outside of the range on the daily, still in the channel. But under 183 is a range break. So if we reclaim this, this market's looking very strong here. So you see NVIDIA stair stepping, making higher highs. Tesla's on its way. With the market being very strong, because off of 183, the plan was like a pop and fade or a reclaim. So obviously, I'm not looking to pop and fade off of this with this market pushing to the upside. Yeah, still looking at the 205 calls here. Not a single down close candle in the 5-minute time frame on SPY and Qs. Everything looks strong. Everything's moving higher. Big V-shaped recovery here on Tesla. Really just looking for this pullback entry on AMD. If we get that, Looking at QQQ right now, pulling back. Reading the market right now. Spine Q's pulling back. Just reading Spine Q's on this pullback right now. Yep, no buyer stepped up there. We can flip to a bearish bias if Q's gets back under 599. We'll see. Pretty big pullback here. So we'll see. If we give up this 599, we could definitely look for a retest under 181 here and under 410. So I wait for the retest. We got the breakout here, never got the retest, so pretty much a peak and fell. Being very patient on these names. I do like NVIDIA under the previous day low as well. SPY and Qs are in sync, both tanking. NVIDIA filled the gap. If this market stays heavy, guys, we're really just looking, yeah, that's a big fake out. Big push. Yeah. You can see NVIDIA is really in sync with Qs. We can look for a retest off of 203 to the downside here. We can look for a retest for Tesla. Like I said, on Tesla, I'm gonna take this. I'm playing weekly expiration. I'm playing end of week, so the 20th. Right now, looking at NVIDIA, guys. For me, NVIDIA would be tomorrow expiration. I would just scale down here. I was looking at the 180 puts on NVIDIA. The 180 puts. Looking at the 180 puts, guys, on NVIDIA. Hmm. 20. I'm short NVIDIA. So the third into that push. See if we can get this flush into the lower day. See if we can get this lower day flush. Market's heavy. Nice. See if we can get a flush here. So the third there. These contracts are moving pretty well. I know that was very quick. Market's heavy right now, though. Nice. Contracts 15%. Big flush here. Big flush here. I got on fully there, guys. just into that lower day push. Were you guys able to catch that? I know that was pretty fast. If you're still in it, it's fine. Your stop loss could really be this 181. I know that was fast. All right, nice, Noah. Ah, okay. Michael, what happened to you is what happened to me last week on my trade with Microsoft. I think you never know, but I think you're right. I think I didn't get filled because the momentum was so fast. I'm highly sure. Highly, highly sure. Dang, that sucks. Okay. I'm reading this. There are some other plays setting up, so I want to see. So really, what I was looking at here, you got the displacement here. Retest. I was very patient waiting for this to go green to red, which it did. And mainly, now you can see we're holding structure. I pretty much got out here because what's making this a little tricky is Qs. Like Qs is whenever you're in a trade and you don't have a swing loaded target, it's very different. So managing that, like scaling out, I was able to hold this. Those contracts on like 15, 20%, but it's Qs pushing into this lower day, this previous day low, I'm sorry, which is making this a little tough. And then here, and you can see just during the pre-market, we've defended this very, very well. Let's see. Yeah, you would want this to hold and continue lower, but SPY and I'm sorry, NVDA and Qs are definitely in sync. Let's see if this holds. Sorry guys, I know that was like quick. That's, damn, yeah, AMD is the one. I really want an AMD just because it's the weekly cons. Yeah, now we're starting to get this flush with Qs flushing as well. When you look at everything else, you can really see here, NVIDIA is really the only one that gave us a retest. We broke to the upside, never got a retest here on AMD. Here, we really just melted to the downside, and then same here with Tesla. So when it comes to taking a retest entry off the previous day low or off a previous day high, I'm way more conservative on those. I'm very strict on those. Like you typically want price to tap back into that level. They don't hold strength like weeklies or dailies. So price never even like pulled back here. I'm not treating these levels as anchor levels like the higher time frame. Of course they work, right? But context definitely matters. They don't hold as much strength as a weekly. So what I liked about NVIDIA was we actually got this candle close and we wicked right off the level. That was the main reason. And then of course this was really the only one that gave us a retest here. Yeah, these contracts are moving, I'm sure. Because from here to like down here was 15%. So hmm, dang, that sucks that Michael, you use TOS too, right? I'm assuming. Sucks that did not feel you. Dang, that sucks. Dang, I'm sorry, guys. Let's see if another play can really set up for us. I don't mind taking another shot with something. AMD is the one I really like, though, honestly, coming into today, just based on where it's sitting. AMD, yeah, like this is a range break on AMD. This is a big deal. You can see all we do is hold this 203. Last week we did pretty good holding this. On Friday we came up. So this is a pretty big break here. Give up 203, we could definitely see 193. Let's see. And I know the scaling can be a little tricky, guy. I'm not really big on scaling, but it's really just adapting to the market conditions right now. Like we're not in trending markets, so it's really me just trying to like lock in on the first initial momentum push, and that's pretty much just de-risking. So that way, even if I do get stopped out, it's break even or a small loss. I'm not really big on scaling, but you got to adapt. Like these market conditions are not trending markets, not at all, man. So we did good here, really just letting cues pick a direction. This was like really the main thing today. Pretty much had a peak and fell, which is crazy, right? We just shot up to the upside. We pushed all the way up to 202, and now we're pretty much right here at this 594. If we can give this up, I honestly want to start the week off heavy. Call me crazy. Because if Q, like I said on the weekly outlook, if we get under this, now we're no longer in a channel. Like, I don't care if we drop to the downside. We're just no longer in a range here. You can clearly see, like, if we get under 587 here on QQQ, like, this thing is stair stepping lower. Look at that. If we can get that, we're done. We're out of this. That's exactly what we want. We want this again. See that? That's what we want, not this. So even if it's to the downside, that's fine, as long as we're trending. Let's see. Yeah, this was when you look at the higher time frame key levels, this was really the play that we wanted, which is coming into today. It was either a pop and fade off of this or a reclaim. We just never got a deep enough pullback here. That's the that's the real play. 183.70. Targeting what if what's next? Yeah, 178. That's like the real play there. Tesla, right? We ended up breaking our weekly here. We just never got a retest. I was very bearish buys here on Tesla, really coming into the week just because we're trending. Just never got an entry here. See, we're making lower lows. Just stair stepping. Sorry, I know that was like a very quick one. So you didn't get filled. Trying to just wait and see if we can get another setup here. It hasn't even been, market hasn't even been open for 30 minutes. And NVDA is moving. This has kind of been the story, guys. That's why I kind of like pivoted to trying to look for these. Yeah, I hope so too. I'm looking at Qs right now on the 5 minute. It's kind of been the story here. That's why I've been also looking, at the previous day lows and highs for us just to get continuation plays. As you can see, we just really haven't been getting a retest on a lot of these key levels. NVIDIA is the only one that really gave us an instant kind of break and retest. 180 140, yeah. And that was an aggressive entry too. I think it's like 10 from. Let's see if we can give this up. Yeah, it looks heavy. That's what we want. Yeah, this was a good morning squeeze for sure. That upside got a lot of people because that was just an instant rejection. So if we stay lower, I mean, we're pretty much just making lower lows here. This is the big deal. If SPY gives up this 678, that's a big deal. We're also under this previous day low. I expect downside on SPY. SPY's already made all-time highs. It's completed its objective. Right? That's a fact. So, if we can get this and we stay heavy today, I mean, now we're just right. We're making lower lows. So good flush here on the market. Pretty big deal on a lot of these names because even Tesla, if Tesla gets out of this, yeah, Tesla, this is a BOS. This is a break of structure. Yeah, this is honestly how we want to start the week off, to be honest. So if Tesla gets under this 402, we're no longer in this crap. We get under 402, we can definitely see 380, 320. Obviously, we would have to be a little cautious shorting into this, but if we give that up, it's a done deal. It's a done deal. So this looks good though. This looks really, really good. A lot of these names are breaking out of channels. AMD actually not in a channel under 203. This looks good. AMD has this gap fill from October, which is a $30 plus gap fill. So this is really how we want to start the week off. So don't feel FOMO. I mean, honestly, this is a good thing. We're just breaking out of ranges. I just want us to continue to do that. NVDA does have some way to go to be outside of the channel. We got to get under 170 here on NVIDIA, and it's no longer in a range. We got to get under 170. You can see it's still dead smack. We're close if this can stay heavy. Like this is the conditions we're looking for, guys. Just that, right? Every week, the almost every other week, the previous week candle is opening above. That's a great indicator for just stair stepping higher. Has not been the case in here. So if this thing can stay heavy, that looks good. You know, we rejected 192.95. We will have to be cautious once we pull in a 170. I mean, 3 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, we pulled back to 170. Buyer stepped up very aggressively. We have not given this level up in so long. So this is a big deal if we give up 170. A very big deal. All right, no surprise, you're starting to see some buyers step in here at some key support levels. Yeah, AMD was the one I really, really wanted. That was the one I mainly wanted. I've been watching this thing for like 2 weeks. We have not gotten a trade. Like right after this candle, all we needed was that target here. And there's really nothing in its way to the downside, just straight downside. 203 is such a strong level here. Right, so today, right, as we know, if we get a daily candle closure under 203, then going into tomorrow, we're just looking for a pop and fade right off of that. We're pretty much bearish on all these names except for NVIDIA. NVIDIA is the main name where we're still neutral on, right? We're more lenient towards the downside, right? It is moving lower, but we are neutral on NVIDIA. AMD under 203, bearish bias. Tesla under 415, we can see that that's trending lower. And if we give up 402, we're no longer in a range. That looks good. Yeah, yeah, straight melt to the downside. Like this entry for me, this was a pretty aggressive entry, but I was playing the rejection off of 183, and I was looking at QQQ melting to the downside too. This is pretty aggressive, but that's why I was very patient on waiting for this to go green or red. I just got this candle closure. That's why I took some off at this lower day, just because I mean I'm going short right near this lower day. So this was just like the continuation play. This is the real trade. That's the one I really, really wanted. That's the real trade. Let's see here. Went down from 183 to 129. Yeah, about a $3 move here. I don't think. Let's see what else is setting up. Maybe. Yeah, this thing is holding, man. This is 3 days in a row now. Like we're starting to hold this. Where is it? Yeah, yeah. Microsoft set up too under this previous day low. Yeah, definitely got a break and retest under this. Thing is, on Microsoft, we're actually very bearish bias on this name too. This name's trending lower. You can see we're trending lower here on Microsoft. Solid break and retest under 398. That was off the pre-market plan. Uh, in the was it close? No, it wasn't on my close watch, but it was on the pre-market plan coming into today. Or like I said, not really looking along this name. Like Microsoft is, yeah, this thing's trending to the downside. Look at that. But you can see why I've been a little bit more focused just because we haven't been getting retests on our entries. So the real trade is really pop and fade off of this 401 key level, weekly level, pop and fade off of that, and then continuation here. So yeah, Microsoft looks good. Right now, Hughes is breaking and retesting the previous day low here. 397.63. Yeah, this is definitely enough displacement. Got that hammer stick, just rejection, flush through the lower day, so that looked pretty good. I'll be a little cautious here. The thing is, Q's is yeah, this is a big deal. Like this is, as you can see on the daily, it makes a little bit more sense. We didn't reject this yet, right? We broke 40125. We didn't get that rejection. This is like the real trade. Pop and fade off of 40125. We held this twice. Still need to retest that for more downside targeting here. So Microsoft looks good. I mean, you can see, we're definitely moving lower here on this name. The bears are in control, 100%. Yeah, Q, we'll see. Q is trying to hold this 594. It's trying on the daily at least. SPY, yeah, SPY looks actually a little weaker than Q's. See, we're not at the clear yet on the SPY. Not at the clear yet. This is you get under this on SPY, we're done. We can definitely see that. We get under that on SPY, we can definitely see 270.20. If SPY can do that, I think that will amplify QQQ to the downside. So you can see here the real key level here is 678 and the 675. But we haven't given up. We haven't been under. Oof, it's been a while since really what November. Yeah, we had a little peak and fail here in December. So we haven't been under 675 since December. So if we get under this, that's a big deal here. We give this up. Yeah, you can tell a lot of these teams are like pretty exhausted now. These are some big plays setting up for tomorrow. 100%. I wouldn't feel too much FOMO on this. Even though I called this out, right? Just saying what I was looking at. This was an aggressive entry, but like I said, I played. I waited for this candle to close. I waited for this hammer stick candle, and I was really just reading cues when I took my entry here. I was just reading cues, and then I was playing next day expiration, so the contracts moved pretty well. Uh, and then on this flush, on a couple of these flushes, that's when I really sold until those momentum pushes. But when you really look at it, never really got like a displacement candle, and then that, and that's really been the story here lately. It's just not a retest. We've been doing good though, just letting cues kind of pick which direction we're going to go in. Let's see. Yeah, I don't think. What else is there? I was looking at Palantir coming into today. Palantir is in an interesting spot. This is a name setting up that I do like. Let me zoom out here on the 30-minute. You can see what I mean. All right, look at Palantir. This thing is trending lower. We get under that, this thing's gone. It's setting up. It's definitely setting up. Let's see. I think that might be. Hey guys, I mean, really the only play that's set up here, based on how we trade, is like NVDA. That was it. AMD was like the most beautiful setup in my opinion. We just never got a retest there. What else was on my close watch? Palantir, nothing set up there. I was looking for that. Microsoft on previous day low. That was solid. I think that's really it. Yeah, Meta's holding this weekly. Yeah, not the best price action there. IWM. Yeah. The real play for me on IWM is 258.20. Definitely got this today though. Definitely got that. Break, retest, good displacement, flush through that lower day, holds the lower day, continues lower. So, okay. It might be. I'm sorry you didn't get that film, Michael. You know what? You got it pretty quick. I'm surprised it feel. No, I know it. I think you trade on TOS too, right? Yeah, that sucks. Did this Michael, did this breakdown on Microsoft explain? Like, did that help? Okay, perfect. So like this, I mean, this name is still in play. Like coming into the week, we just have to be patient. Like off our key level, we still need to retest. This we actually gapped down. So we still need to retest this 401.25. We still got to pop and fade off that. This thing is definitely moving lower. This thing looks really good. Today, right for a good scout off of 398, that definitely set up. So Microsoft looks good. Like the trend is your friend. When you look at Microsoft, I'm not looking to long this name. Not at all. Yeah, honestly, it's a great stock. I like Microsoft. Yeah, hopefully the 401 makes sense though. Like you're really looking for the pop and fade off of this, right? Today definitely gave you that setup under the previous day low. Good enough displacement. See, just making lower lows. Well, actually, at this point, I'll make it a little cleaner. We are making lower lows here. So you just want to see us continue to do that. So it didn't give us this off the weekly, but it gave us that. My advice, if you ever come into market open, what I do is because today was one of those days where it's like, man, there looks like a lot of stuff during pre-market. Only watch two or three and focus on that. You have it's so hard to it's not hard, but to watch 4 to 5 plus names at once, it's very hard to concentrate and look at 5 names at once. So whenever I have these three that you see on my screen, whatever three it is, that's all I focus on. So if I got like 2 names that I personally like, you can put up Microsoft as three instead of AMD. You know what I mean? So that's always a good tip to do because Microsoft is a good one. I like Microsoft 100%. I think the spreads are tight. Cons move pretty good. Yeah, yeah, Microsoft's a good one. Today is so if you play tomorrow, yeah, cheaper cons, about a 10-cent spread, so it's good. Let's see. But yes, we'll call it here. Hopefully this trade made sense, guys. Um, let's just hope everything stays heavy, to be honest. Let's just hope. Like Q's is breaking us out of the channel right now. Uh, NVDA pretty neutral on. If AMD stays under 203, really one of my main watches on the higher time frame. Like this would be honestly a potential swing trade for me on this. If Q stays heavy and we break outside of the range on the downside, and I know, okay, now the market is bearish and AMD is making these lower lows and we give up 203 with this $30 gap fill, I would be looking to swing trade this. I would want to see what the reactions are under 193. You can see you can short off of 203, but every time, right? No coincidence. We pull into 193.30. Buyers are stepping up and defending this. So if we give that up, that's really like the start of our gap fill to the downside. And you can see that would just be a lower low forming here. So I'm watching this thing. This looks really, really good. Right? It's hard to swing trade when you're not in a trending market, but once we start trending, they're there. They are there. And you can see today, right? Buyers are stepping up here at just 193.30. No surprise there. That's a strong level. We have held this since 11/21. Yeah, since November. Every single time we get to the top of the range and pull back here, we have just defended this 193.30. We give that up, that's a big deal. So I would definitely, keep an eye out for that. Yeah, you can see how aggressively buyers are actually stepping up now. So hopefully that makes it. AMD was my main watch. I love the confluence because we're also under the previous day low. We're under a weekly level, turn it into resistance. Everything was screaming at me to take this trade. This was like one of my favorite plays coming into today. But as you can see, just never got a retest. Never got a retest. Just straight upside. Just peak and fail. That's what you call that, a peak and fail. So a lot of traders, right, got hurt on this squeeze. This was a good bull trap, and then boom, just rejection. I think that is going to do it. Now you got me focused on Microsoft. Let's see. Yeah, see this bounce all around, right? Kind of a V-shaped recovery. This is why. Q's is holding this 594.90. It's definitely holding this. There's no doubt about that. Daily little double bottom here. That's not a coincidence. If we want to see more downside on this market, we got to get under this. We have to get rid of this. That's really the key level here. You can see how strong buyers are stepping up. Look at this wick already. Yeah, that's the line in the sand right there. Let's see what SPY's doing. Yeah, see? Line in the sand. So hopefully moving forward, if we want to see more downside, we got to give up these levels. Got to give up these levels. Just like a $5 plus play to the downside on SPY if we give that up. So I'll break all this down in the pre-market plan. But so far, 2 good days, just back to back. NVDA back to back. Friday was 20%. Today was roughly 15%. I was a little bit more aggressive on my scale and entry here just because I was going short near a lower day, but ended up getting the flush here. So that played out very nice. So no FOMO though. Like this, see, Tesla's holding this. Why? Because QQQ is holding the bottom of the range. We need these names to break outside of the channel. That's like a very big deal. Very big deal. So we'll see how today closes. Tomorrow we do have FOMC minutes, not statement, minutes. So we'll see, what that would do with the overall market. I think that is tomorrow. Give me one sec. Yeah, that is tomorrow. Let's see. Yeah, this Tuesday. Yeah, FOMC minutes tomorrow at 11 a.m. So we'll see. We'll see what happens here. I'm gonna make the assumption that's gonna give us some volatility in the market. But yes, gonna call it here, guys. If you ever have any questions, right, reach out. Right now, the main objective, like I said on the outlook, we just got to see what SPY and Qs do. We need these names to break. Because what I don't want personally is this bounce here. Because if we bounce here, now we're just moving back up in the range. That's all we're doing. So it's pretty annoying. So I don't want to wag my tail too early, but I'm really hoping we can give these levels up on the SPY and Qs. Like even if today we close here, that's good because we're closing, below the previous day's low. So that's a good thing. But we are moving lower here on this market. Let's just see if we can stay heavy. But yeah, definitely gonna call it here. Quick day. This was a quick trade. I'm sorry they didn't feel you, Michael. That sucks. Definitely sucks. But really nothing else. You really didn't miss anything. We didn't get any setups. Well, any retest on some of the names we were looking for. So hope that helps. I will break down this trade today. I will have the pre-market game plan out as soon as market close, and I will see you guys in the morning.